Hello everyone, this is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full-time. I've been doing this with my fiance Anetta for a couple years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we are shipping today on Monday, so this is all the stuff from like the back end of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I would say this is like pretty average, like 30 items exactly, or I think this is 29, but a couple of them are combo orders, so it's a little bit more than that. So I'm pretty happy, but our whole August has been like up, down, staying down, goes up, goes down. So it's been kind of all over the place, so it'll be interesting to see where it's at. And August, I feel like, has been going really fast for us. All right, so the first thing up is a vintage Play-In Score right here. This is like just like a little faux leather case for playing card decks, and it has like little pockets so you can put like a small pencil, a playing card deck. Yeah, I grab cool playing card stuff, so I couldn't help myself but grab this out and about. It was pretty cheap. This sold for $9.72 plus shipping. Don't forget that we do plus shipping for everything, so I'm just going to say it one time and save us time for the whole video. All right, next up is an RPG book. It's going to be a pirate one. The Pirate's Guide to Freeport right here, a campaign setting for fantasy role-playing game. This looks really cool. I like fantasy themes. I like the potential of pirate themes, at least in games. But yeah, this is a hardcover book. This is basically new. I think I still listed it as like very good or something just in case, because it doesn't have like a full seal on it. I have a couple more of these, but I relisted one already. This sold for $33.75. So yeah, I've sold a couple of these before in our history of selling on eBay. So I still have a couple more. They do sell slowly. I am asking more for it because it's like a vintage one. Plus, it's in really good condition. So this sold for $33.75, which is really cool. All right, next up is a combo order. I woke up and then someone was messaging about a bunch of all the Marvel cards. I don't know. I think I mentioned it in a video or two where I was going through all those binders. There's a lot of good hits in that and a lot of good lots I made. I listed all of it. It's all listed right now. So if you're into Marvel cards, go ahead and take a look at it and help support us. But right here is a lot of three. It's a 1995 Flair Ultra X-Men Cyclops observation card. It is Jubilee, this like suspended action card, and Magneto suspended action cards. The suspended action ones are like clear and kind of see-through. But yeah, I already packed them up right here to keep them in good condition. These sold for $23. I went through all the Marvel cards and listed the singles. For the ones that would probably be like $5-10 or more, and then I lotted up the rest. But yeah, next up is a really good hit from the Marvel cards. I was shocked. They were actually the last cards I listed were these like gold ones. I looked them up. They're Marvel Masterpieces, limited edition hollow foil. This is like a gold background. This one sold for $75. So yeah, they were the last ones. But before I got down to these like gold hollow foil bordered ones, most of the cards were like $10, 20, 15, a lot of 7s, 9s. I did those, and then I did lots for the ones that weren't worth that much. So $75 for that was huge. I think I listed that for $100 and took an offer for $75. All right, moving along, we have a vintage Wisconsin 1976 travel brochure. We grab a bunch of these. I've gotten a lot in the past. We haven't gotten any recently. I think I need to grab some in a thrift store, but only a couple of them. But yeah, there you go. It's just like a cool little travel map brochure from 1976. People like these a lot. They're very easy to list, very easy to store. This sold for $12. Moving along is a book called like Nuts, The Battle of the Bulge right here. It's a hardcover, I believe, military book right here. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of pictures in it. It's like a coffee table book. It's in relatively good condition right here. This sold for $11. We have a lot of the military books, and we have pretty good access to a lot more if we want. All right, next up is a 2-deck playing card or magic playing cards. These are going to have optical illusions on them. So if you've been watching the channel long enough, you know I love picking up weird, interesting, different playing card decks. So yeah, these are right up my alley when I saw them. They have over 100 visual optical illusions on them. Really cool card set. I do collect playing cards myself, like weird ones. But I'm kind of like low on space, so they have to be like very unique and weird. This one sold for $14 for a set of 2. All right, moving along. More Marvel cards. These are, this is 139 of 1999 Marvel Flair cards, the Ultra X-Men sets. I don't know if it's Fleer or Flair. I feel like I've seen the spelling both ways. On here it says Fleer, but I feel like people say Flair. I believe the whole set is 150 cards, so this is unfortunately 11 cards short. Not a big deal. They're probably getting a good deal. This sold for $35. I think I saw like full sets probably going for like 50, 60. It really depends on if someone wants to get the full set. Sometimes people just like the individual cards. So yeah, this went for $35. Maybe someone's going to complete their set cheaply by like getting the other 11, and then well, I feel like they would probably pay $50 or $60 if they get the other 11, unless they already have them. But yeah, that's awesome to get all this. The binders were like a couple bucks each, so like, yeah, that was really good to get that money rolling in. Moving along is War Machine Rulebook Prime Rules Digest. This is a smaller size of the rulebook for the War Machine and Hordes miniature game. War Machine is going to be the steampunk version with like mechs and robots. Hordes is the fantasy version. Yeah, this is by Privateer Press. This sold for $8. I had another one, so I just did sell similar, and then I made sure the condition was pretty much the same, and it was like good, very good, little bit of wear, but that's how like most books are. All right, moving along. This is only one that maybe I sold it for too low. But this is a lot of 22 more Marvel cards, 1999 Marvel Masterpieces Gold foil signature series. So I think I figured out when I was listing these cards that they have a whole base set, I think, of this one. And then they have like these signature ones. They're not like super crazy. They're not like autographs and other card games, but you only get like one per pack. So these are like the rares. So this lot of 22 sold for $20. I think I had another lot that I listed for a bit more. So it's okay. I'm fine with theoretically not selling this for maximum money. I'm already in more than $100 from just the Marvel cards, and I had those few binders in the whole table where I spent $105. So this is good, especially for like August is theoretically not that much. It doesn't perform that much better than July, at least for us, at least when I looked at last year's numbers. So there you go, $20 for that. Next up is a Pathfinder RPG book right here. Companion. Ooh, actually. Ooh, okay, I think I accidentally grabbed an extra. I thought I grabbed the wrong item at the storage unit. Thank God. Pathfinder Player Companion, Humans of Golarion? Golarion? There you go. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this is it. This is just going to be like an adventure, I believe, for players. It's probably going to have additional stuff, or maybe different characters, NPCs, maps, adventures, items, all that jazz. This sold for $18. Next up is a lot of 48 Privateer Press Monster Apocalypse dice for a miniature game from the past. I don't think they've been trying to remake this game multiple times. I'm not sure where it stands now. I think the last time I saw it was at a convention like 3-4 years ago where they were turning the game. This is the dice for the collectible game where you would buy booster packs of these different factions. They'd be like alien factions, robot factions. You would play on like a city. There'd be buildings, and you're just trying to knock out the other person's monsters and stuff. These were the dice. These are hit dice. There was different number of hits in the white, blue, and red dice. So when I saw these, I immediately knew what they were, because these were, I got them from someone who had a bunch of dice in it. They didn't know what the dice were, so they were getting rid of them cheaply. I briefly played the game when it came out. I bought some at the convention where it debuted. So I instantly knew what these were. These are cool dice too. They sold for $29 for 48 of them. But I think Monster Apocalypse they're now making it like a miniature game where you open them out of the box and you have to build the pieces together and paint them. I don't even know if that was successful, so I'm just going to move along because I don't know where it's at right now. All right, next up is a board game. This one is Streets of Fire Deluxe ASL Module 1 right here. This is missing, I believe, the scenario sheets, which is really, I think, for them, not a big deal. You can probably just like look them up online or print them or buy them cheaply. I mean, I've sold a lot of the scenario sheets. So yeah, these are pretty good. Advanced Squad Leader is just like a miniature hex game where you have like little tokens to represent armies, and you're recreating like battlefields and scenes. That's what the scenarios are for. But people really love this stuff. There's like, I think there's like a bigger size of there's Squad Leader, then there's like Advanced Squad Leader. A lot of stuff to this. I don't know, like I've never played it, but I know it exists, and we've sold a bunch of the stuff, and we happen to find a lot. So this sold for $36 to a repeat buyer. Next up is like a miniature, let's see, U.S. Navy World War II Fleet Submarine Railing set right here. I'm not fully sure. I think it's just like going to be like an accessory for a miniature. It looks like there's like metal bits and pieces. Maybe you add it onto the side of like a submarine miniature that you're making. It's by Nautilus Dolphin series. Anytime I see like weird miniature stuff, I don't recognize the company, I can tell this is vintage. This one sold for $18. These things are kind of hard to picture on eBay, and like, cause like it's like elongated, but it has tiny details on it. So I think I did a pretty good job with pictures, and maybe that's why I got a little bit more for it. All right, moving along is some promos for a board game. Great Western Trail, the 13th building tile promo. So here's the little promo tiles. This is the rule sheet for the board game. Board games have a lot of like small little expansions that you can purchase and add to your game. So they have this sold for $10.80. Yeah, I don't know, when someone like really loves a game, they want to have all the stuff, and there you go. That's like another small expansion for them. Next up is another RPG game, which is interesting because it's by Privateer Press. Iron Kingdoms: A Strange Light Breaks. It's interesting because this is like the War Machine and Horde stuff that we were just talking about earlier. This sold for $12. Yeah, this one is their role-playing game, not their miniature game. The Iron Kingdoms, I believe, is Privateer Press's War Machine Horde's miniature game. That's just going to be like an adventure. It was from Free RPG Day from 2022. I ended up purchasing it from someone, but yeah, a lot of those like Free RPG Day books, they do end up selling for a little bit of money. People love collecting books, reading them, looking at the pictures. All right, moving along, Goosebumps. Be careful what you wish for. Number 12. I don't think there's anything special about this one. I don't know if this is first edition or not. This one sold for $12.50. Let me just click on my listing real quick to make sure that it's... Nope, I put 9th edition. I know how to find the editions on the inside of the cover. Like, I looked it up when I got a bunch of Goosebumps books, and you can get a lot more for the first editions. And yeah, the condition really matters for Goosebumps books. There's a lot of stuff that like kids could write on in the back. There's like checklists and little activity sheets sometimes. So yeah, this one sold for $12.50. I still have a lot of Goosebumps books listed, like currently right now. All right, moving along. This is a Rubbermaid aqua blue greenish drink, a water cooler. You know, you put like a drink in there, you put some ice in here, you go to a beach. This one's kind of vintage. I think I did grab this from a thrift store that we used to go to a lot when they had like good prices. I happen to remember, so it kind of sat for a bit, and it was kind of awkward to keep in the bin, but I'm glad it sold because it freed up that bin to list more stuff into. So this sold for $23.40. I think we paid like $2 for that one. But yeah, I think it was either $2 or $3 from that thrift store. All right, next up is a magazine, Board Game Journal right here. These are magazines that usually come with some kind of like miniature little game or scenario for a different game. This one does not have the game in it, so I listed that as such. It's just a magazine. It's still pretty good condition, talking about different board games and stuff by this company. This sold for $13.50. The only issue is like a little bend right here, but it's not a big deal. I had one more of these, so I already relisted it. All right, next up is a little Matchbox car right here. This is a 1998 black Chevrolet Silverado toy truck or something like that. I just put all the keywords that I found on the bottom. I don't know anything about Hot Wheels and Matchbox, but we happen to get a bunch cheap during auctions, so we do pick them up because we do make a lot of money from them. It doesn't take me too much to research them because they usually have like the information on the bottom. But this one sold for $8.50. This is part of we did an auction where we bought $600 worth of stuff. So I've been keeping track of everything we've sold from that auction, and most of our tiny stuff from the auction have been selling. That was like earlier this year, I think. I'll have to look into my notes later on. But yeah, $8.50 for that. Next up, another Marvel card. This is Jean Grey from 1995 Fleer Ultra X-Men. Like Sinister Observations card right here. It's like a set of 10, like another little small set of 10 of cards you can collect in the series. This one sold for $12.75. So yeah, a lot of the Marvel cards just moving out. It's great. Moving along, we have a ceramic like miniature building. This one was interesting and unique because like I think the person like spray painted the bottom part silver, and that's not the cool part. The cool part was like the roof. They happened to make it like a different like rainbow, or not rainbow, just a bunch of different colors as like a blocked art pattern on top of it. So it kind of pops and stands out on the battlefield. So when someone's going to use this, it's going to look cool. So yeah, someone did a decent job of like painting up this ceramic piece right here for a miniature wargaming building accessory. This sold for $15 to a repeat buyer. So they've probably gotten some terrain from us before, and then like this one, I do find unique ones out there. I'll also find like broken ones, and I'll just list them as like a broken ruined building, and they still sell. You know, they're still good. Not every little miniature terrain piece on the battlefield and when people are recreating these scenes needs to be like pristine. So yeah, I think I got this along another bag of a bunch of broken bits and pieces. This was probably thrown in there because it was painted on, but I thought it was good enough to list, and someone else agreed. Next up, I'm glad this sold. This is a lot of 100 bits and pieces for a board game, a legacy board game called Pandemic Legacy Season 0. Very, very good board game. Ned and I loved it. Yeah, legacy board games are generally like a campaign style where you play about like 10 to 15 or so games, and you make permanent changes to the pieces, your player characters, the board. Sometimes you have to throw away stuff. Sometimes, a lot of times, you unlock new mechanics. They're really cool experiences. That's why I like them, is because you like experience a board game as it's evolving and changing based off the choices you make. This is just literally 100 bits and pieces of them. They're cool bits and pieces, but technically, usually the board games kind of falls flat when you're done with the campaign because you don't have any more changes. You can play the game as is, as you had it, but usually the fun of it is going through the experience. So yeah, someone paid $10 for all these bits and pieces. Really cool. I think like full game is $80 MSRP, or at least was back in the day. I don't know where it stands now. All right, next up is a DVD, The King of Arcades, right here. I don't know anything about this one, but the person bought this and then they messaged me asking if I like was in the crew or if I knew the crew. They were like super excited that I had this DVD. I said, no, I'm not in the crew, or no, I don't know the person. And then they still wanted to talk about how they're so excited I had this in their collection. It's a good DVD, and it's really cool to see someone like excited for this. So yeah, this sold for I think $12. Moving along, a strategy guide book right here. I love grabbing strategy guide books. They're a medium to rare to find out in the wild. This sold for $18. This is just Grand Theft Auto number 5. I only played like the first few Grand Theft Autos, I think on like PlayStation or PlayStation 2 back in the day. PlayStation 2, I think. I feel like once I played it for like 100 hours, I kind of got out of it what I wanted, and I felt like everything else is kind of just the same. But people love this series, and this is part 5, and this strategy guide book, pretty good condition, sold for $18. All right, next up is a lot of 82 Trivial Pursuit player score wedge tokens. So yeah, I mean, this it was slightly surprising to me that it sold. I just happened to get it with a bunch of other board game bits and pieces. I've never played Trivial Pursuit before, so I thought these were like something unique. And then when I looked them up, I'm like, oh, they're just pieces to like a game you can find all over the place. But the 82 of these sold for $5. Low amount of money, but like I already got it in bulk, so it was good to get money back in. And then I guess the space doesn't take up much space, but it is another item out of my listing box. All right. Moving along, last Marvel card for right now. This is Carnage, Power Blast card, number 1 of 9 for Marvel Comics Universe 1994 card set there. This sold for $7. So yeah, this is one of the ones I probably listed for 10 and took it off for 7. But yeah, it did not go in a lot of cards because it looked different, and I looked it up and it had a little bit more value than a couple bucks. All right, next up is a lot of 20 Flames of War acrylic tokens. Really good quality acrylic tokens with like a soft little felt in the bottom, so they'll not move along on the board when you play. Flames of War is just, I think it's like a World War II miniature game. It's really expansive. They have a lot of stuff and like books to it, and then miniatures, and then people really like playing it. So these are just tokens to denote stuff like if a character has gone to ground, or if they're ranged in, or bailed out of the tank or something like that. Yeah, they all say different things. They're just, you put them next to the figures it helps you keep track of the stuff. I had another set of those, so I relisted another set, and this set sold for $22.50. And then the last thing for the day is right here, an empty box, Sword and Shield for Pokemon Evolving Skies, Elite Trainer box. It's a pretty good condition. It had like a sticker here where like a shop probably used it to sell some bulk cards or something. I still thought the sticker wasn't obnoxious enough, so I still listed it. But yeah, and I took pictures of everything. But yeah, this sold for $10. Yeah, people really love this set because they had all the evolutions in it. And yeah, look how cool the box looks. It's good quality. It helps parents keep all their kids' cards off of the ground and all over the place, because this can probably hold like, I don't know, 500 to 800 unsleeved cards. Sleeve maybe a little bit less, depends on the thickness of the sleeves. But yeah, that's everything we are shipping out today on Monday. So this is all the weekend stuff. But yeah, this is going to be really easy to pack other than the board game. Like I said, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to help support us. Take a look at our shop down below, and let me know if you're doing anything fun for the week, or if there's anything interesting coming up, or how your eBay's been doing, or any of that. Comment down below. Thank you.